sogno, quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola. Facci sognare ancora, facci gridare ancora, vari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola mai. Quanti viaggi con gli amici, tanti posti sconosciuti, tutti uniti e innamorati di un sogno. Canto sempre con orgoglio, anche quando sono stanco, mai nessuno può distruggere il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola. Facci sognare ancora, facci gridare ancora, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola mai.
Welcome everyone to a new edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report. Boy, that was a long introduction, but that's a great song, and I'm sure the fans in body would appreciate that. All right, alongside me as always, Frank Tricomi. Special guest tonight, we have Neil here from St. Teresa. We have a couple teams that you're coaching, right?
Yep.
We have the Cheetahs,
the Pumas,
the
and
Pumas, and the Strikers. Boy, you must be busy. Welcome to the show, Neil.
It's a pleasure.
I mean, as you know, we're basically focused on Staten Island, but we discuss, all kinds of soccer and all kinds of levels. We'll start off with a little background, Neil, of yourself, and then we'll get into what you do here on Staten Island.
Well, I was born in Trinidad, grew up in Trinidad.
Okay.
Big soccer country,
Yes.
and very passionate about soccer. Every chance I got was kicking the ball, going outside, playing soccer 2-3 times a day. Eventually growing in it, playing for school,
Right.
country at a youth level, and
Nice.
semi-professional for my semi-professional team. So
Okay. Back in Trinidad, now that you're here in the States, is it similar? I mean, how do they run it? How do they run the youth soccer back home?
well, it's similar. I
It's
mean,
similar.
the game itself is soccer, but
Okay.
it's
Yeah, the game, you can never change the game, no matter where you're playing it. You're playing the same way. But I was just like the rules and stuff. Like, do they have like the games that we have here on the island with Staten Island Soccer League? Is it similar referees to have that?
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
yeah, similar. It's the love for the game.
Okay.
It's like one sport basically.
Right.
Like in America, what I notice is like different sports you gotta choose from, and
Yep.
soccer is not the most popular.
Right.
But in Trinidad, the love for it is so strong. It's like the only sport we really play.
Yeah,
together with
unfortunately
cricket.
for the country, soccer's probably down at the bottom, right, Frank? You agree?
Yeah.
But if you're a if you love soccer, it's not at the bottom. Like for me, it's up there on top. If there's a World Cup going on and there's a giant game, I think I'm tuning into the World Cup, especially if it's either the Italians or the Americans. Those are the two teams I root for. But Anyway, so you came to the States, right?
Yeah,
And
at 21.
okay.
And always looking for an opportunity to get into soccer.
Okay.
That's why when you told me about the show, I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah.
I'm all for the development, 100%.
Right.
At least Staten Island soccer.
And this,
Staten Island
this show, that I've been doing this for about 3 years. This is show number 57, okay? And it's for you guys. It's for the coaches. It's for the players. It's for the referees, and also the fans to come on, or even call us. We got, if Kenny's behind the glass today. We're gonna give Kenny a big thank you for helping us out here, bailing us out actually tonight, because if it wasn't for Kenny, we have no show. It's for the fans. I do the show to get soccer more out there, On Staten Island, it's actually a small little place here, so hopefully, people pick up on the show and they want to come on and just give us their story. Give us how they started out and how much they love this game. Last month we had Silver Lake, what was it, U9 Tigers,
Yes.
right? 8-year-old boys. We had this whole room filled up. And they spoke about what they love to do, and they loved it, and they play as a team. It was great hearing 8-year-old boys talk about their passion that they have. 8 years old, and how they work together. This team is unbeatable. Nobody beats this team, the Tigers. If you look them up, so anyhow, this is what the show is about, and I've been asking coaches all season long. Unfortunately, we came to an end this weekend of another season on Staten Island soccer. But I'm on the field almost every day, and I ask coaches, referees to come on. Some accept, like you have. Some say they're camera shy, so I guess they'll catch the show on YouTube whenever we put it on.
Speaking about the Tigers, I'm just going to go off script. I did hear that they did clinch, I believe, first place
Right.
in the A division for
Yeah,
the
division, right.
U9.
Yeah,
Cosmopolitan
and I was
Junior.
talking to that coach also. They're going to be probably playing up, just to get some more competition. They're going to play up.
Right.
Because obviously they're winning games, 6, 7, 8, nothing, 13, nothing. They're winning. So I don't like those scores, but you know what? Sometimes it's tough to, and then travel. It's tough to keep back.
You know what it is, though? At a certain point, you got to find where you belong. So
Right.
I have no problem with that happening, but once you find where you belong,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that
Right.
you say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm blowing these teams out. I'm playing a pass-back game
Okay.
for 20 minutes, half an hour.
That's the
You know,
thing,
let's
as a
move up.
referee, I'm doing a lot of games, and I'm noticing, the teams, they score 5 goals in the first 15 minutes, and then they have to pass the ball around the rest of the game.
If you're doing that against every team, it's time
Yeah, it's
to,
tough. It's
to
tough.
move on, challenge, and then if you
Yeah.
can't meet the challenge because you're playing too far up, then you could always go back down.
But how you could tell a 9-year-old don't score a goal if you 6 up and we say no more goals.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for a 9-year-old, not to score, to tell him not to score. A
It's
goal.
tough. Yeah, it's tough on them, and that's probably where we're losing a lot of kids. If you're telling them not to score, maybe they get discouraged and they don't want to play the game anymore also.
And
But-
again, even if you're at the point where you're playing pass back, at that point I would expect rec or travel to start playing some of your bench players. And then how are you going to tell that bench player who hardly scores,
Yeah.
if ever,
You get
don't
opportunity.
score now?
Yeah.
And that's what I
All right,
think is
Frank,
really
we'll get
hard.
into that. I just want to get a little focus, a little bit more on Neil. Now, how did you get, let's just jump right into St. Teresa's. How did you get involved with them?
Well, my daughter plays for the team
Okay.
when she was like 5,
Okay.
and there was a parent coach in the team.
Right.
But as the team grew, I guess she was just helping out. But as the team grew, she really couldn't grow with the team because you needed a little more in-depth knowledge about
Right.
the game. So I had a little knowledge about the game,
Okay.
loving it so much,
Yeah.
and I decided, well, you know what, I'll give it a try, helping them out. I
Right.
couldn't do it before because of my work. I travel so much, but
Okay.
I say I'll be committed and try to help them out. And I love it so much. Even coaching, I never had experience with coaching. I always play the game, but I love it so much that
You know
I
what?
took on 2 more teams.
Coaching probably comes easy if you played the game.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you're gonna understand it a lot better. Not knocking people that didn't play, you know, and then they want to still coach, because volunteers we need, right? We need the
definitely.
league needs the volunteers, but it's an easy transition if you play the game and then you want to decide to coach young kids. You know, it shouldn't be a problem doing that. So, how's the season going? You have 3 teams. We'll talk a little bit about how's that going. I know you have St. Who's in charge over there as far as soccer program? Who's
Brian Lyons in charge of
Okay.
the soccer.
Okay, is in charge of soccer
Yeah.
there. All right. So how are your teams doing? What's
The under the U12, they're not
Okay.
doing too good, but
Yeah.
they're improving a lot.
Right. That's the key.
There's a lot of
That's the
lot of girls that started
right?
like old, like under 9. First time they kick a ball was 9-year-old,
Yeah.
and from the improvement I saw from last year to this year was a great improvement. Although they're not winning much games,
Okay.
at least they're improving. They're having fun, The under 9 they're doing very good. They in first place.
Okay.
And also the strikers is doing good. They lost 1 and win like 5. So
St. Teresa, now the Cheetahs. Where were they? Are they a true U12 team?
no, it's
They're
mostly 9-year-olds,
so they're
9-year-olds, and
playing
some
up.
10-year-olds. They're
10?
playing up. Yeah.
Okay, so they're playing up.
Yeah.
Okay, because we haven't seen you guys, and we're U12. We're like
Yeah.
11-year-olds. All right, and that's tough. Also, that probably has a little something to do
Yeah.
with it. Yeah, but like you said, you want to see improvement from the players, right? It's
Yeah,
always it's not about the result, right?
Well, to me right now, it's just about development.
Right.
I don't really
Exactly.
care about. I mean, everybody wants to win.
Yeah. well,
Everybody wants to
of
win,
course.
but once they develop,
Yep.
at a certain rate.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, since your girls, because we play each other twice this season, and we're in the same division, we're probably going to stick around. We're going to see each other, right? Your girls are a little younger, and they fought pretty well on
Yeah.
Saturday against
Yeah.
my group, which is mostly 11-year-old players.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good fight there, and the game was tied 1-1.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And I've seen some of my plays, improve this season alone. Last season we didn't win a game.
Right.
So-
Right.
and if you want to go on wins, we won 2 this season. So that's an
There's
improvement.
Yeah.
So, and that's all you can really hope for. Again, it's not fair because we could talk about the travel players that are on these rec teams. If one rec team has 4 or 5 travel players, that's it. That other rec team that has 1 has no chance. There's no chance.
Yeah, it's kind of misleading because sometimes on a team there's 1 good player or 2 good players scoring all the goals.
Right.
And that's not really a good team.
Yep.
And at a certain age,
That's the case with
that
mine.
player wouldn't be controlling the game as much as they do now. So we want to have like a well-balanced team instead of 1 good player. You think the team is good because 1 good player, but we want to have a balanced team. If that 1 good player get injured or can't play today, the team is a whole different team.
And the thing
You
is,
know?
as we've spoke about this before, as the kids get older,
Yep.
you need 1 or 2 good players that'll get you by.
Right.
U7, U8,
Right.
U9.
Right.
Then you need 2 or 3 good players. And then all of a sudden, by the time you're playing a full-size field, a regulation field, or even a U12,
Yeah.
you can't get by with 3 good players. You need,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, to make a long story short, because an hour goes by quick here, and we only got 45 minutes to go. We have a lot to cover. Staten Island Soccer League, and I've said this plenty of times, needs to either come on this show or call up and give us why they got to do something about these travel players playing rec soccer as far as the competition goes. Like again, if one team is loaded with them, no one else has a chance.
Well, the thing is, though, it's like I said, it's not even a question of the players. It's the quality of the players. I have travel players on my team. I didn't win first place last season or this season.
Well, we all know
So
the
it's
quality. We know which players are quality.
Well, the
Okay?
thing
the
is,
league knows who they are.
well, if you're blowing teams out, year
Well-
after
well,
year,
if there's-
season after season, then it's not competitive anymore.
If
My
there's-
team is still a competitive
If
team.
there's only one thing that they could do, put them up, then let them play up. You know, if they're U12, let them go to U14 and play it
You
with
know,
those
and-
girls or those boys, and let's see how they do with them. But anyhow, that's a topic that we've discussed plenty of times, right? As far as the travel and the rec players go. All right, to wrap up the season in our division and Division Two, U12, St. Charles, the Strikers, again, loaded with travel players, end up winning the division, right? But I also could say that we beat them. And that win against them was our biggest, it was like a championship victory for us because we beat the top team there. And they were shooting for an undefeated season. So we knocked them off the block. And I believe, I don't know if, Kenny, I think we might be getting a call if the phone lines, all right, if we do, we do. If we don't, I got a text message saying that there was no answer. But St. Charles had two teams in our division, and they end up first and second. Good Counsel finished up in third. Richmond Town and then St. Teresa's, I think, are neck and neck. All right, I mean, we don't beat that St. Charles team if they have their full team.
So how much travel players does that team?
Well, the top team here, I would have to say, I don't know, but I'm going to guess about at least 4.
Okay.
Okay, at least 4 players. And if you have that amount of good quality, like
Well,
Frank said, quality
yeah,
travel,
yeah.
you're not going to beat them.
That's
No matter what you do, unless
But-
you have the same type of quality players.
But that's the whole purpose of, shuffling the deck between seasons. But
Again,
at some point,
if there's-
once you're in Division One,
Put them up.
you have to.
Right. But you know what? We played a game. I'm not complaining. It is what it is. You played a game, and we've played them tough. And you know what? They beat the first time we played them. They beat us 6-0. Okay, I think we got a caller on the line. You're on the Staten Island Soccer Report. Yeah, they beat us 6-0. So, what do you get out of that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll continue until we get the caller through.
Yeah, again, I don't think it's the.
Yeah.
I think it's the quality and the competitiveness.
Right.
I don't think you could put an exact number on it.
Right.
You could have 10 travel players, but if they're all bench players, and you're still losing games and games are still competitive,
Yep.
I don't see
I don't know if
anything.
you guys could shed more light on this, but a U9 rec that we see and a U9 travel, what's the range of quality you're talking about here?
Well, the
It's-
boys team that we had on last week, I could tell you this, they almost played like a professional team.
Yeah.
That's how good they are, and that's how the coach has them. Like, I'm telling you, they go onto the field. This is from the coach, from the middle, from halfway. That's how they enter the field when they go to play. Okay, so that tells you how they're well coached. But there's a big difference, yeah, between rec, U9, or any well, for this team, U9, they could beat any rec team.
Well, our aim on Staten Island should be having the rec same quality as the travel.
Oh, no.
We got to strive for that.
We could strive for it, but it's going to be a long shot. Hey, I'm with you. If we
Yeah.
could do it, but I've been around long enough to know that.
The problem is, as with this and any other sport, there's parents that just sign their kids up just to get them out a little bit.
Well, we
And
don't
they're not
know.
really as
We don't
committed,
know. We
which
don't
is
know.
fine.
Right. All right. We have someone on the line? Maybe not? Okay. Anyhow, we don't. Yeah, there's the soccer ball that we didn't get at the beginning of the show. All right. Better late than never. But anyhow, yeah, I think with the travel, if someone's signing up their son or daughter for travel, I think there's more of a commitment. They know there's more of a commitment. You're going to go to the practices and you're going to go to the games, right? There's more of a commitment than the rec, I think, So, but then again, if you get a guy like me, I don't miss any games, rec or, I'm 100% committed, especially when we had our team, Frank, you know that, I didn't miss anything. But
How we bridge the gap? You got to bridge the gap some.
it starts,
So,
well, when you're talking about youth, it starts with the parents. It starts there because the kids can't get anywhere without them, right? So they
Yeah.
have to be committed. They have to be the first ones to be committed if you want to try to get that rec to the travel level, which I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So that's why they have the two You know, you got the rec for the kids that just want to go through the motions, so to speak. And I'm not saying that they do, but you know, just
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to say that, you know, I played soccer
Yeah.
and they don't want to go any further with it. And then you got the serious ones that want to go, hey, listen, I want to,
Right, that's the travel. That's
you
the
know,
travel
maybe I
people.
want to go somewhere one
Yeah.
day and I'll be on Barcelona or
Yeah.
whatever, because that's what it seems to be. Barcelona, all these kids love, right?
Mhm.
So that's why you got the two. So, you know, other than that, I can't really say much.
Again, some rec parents, you know, and you go through it at the end of every season. You try to get the kids together.
All right, I think we might have a caller on the line.
John,
Yes. Here he is.
what's going on?
Here he is, Brian Dorr. Some of you may know Brian from the show. He's calling in from Toronto, I believe.
Yes, sir. I'm up in Toronto.
So what's going on, Brian? Give us some good news from Toronto.
All right, let's get started here. Toronto, first of all, let me tell you that they love their soccer up here.
Yes. Jovinko.
Yeah, I know. Too bad I didn't get to see no games because they lost to Montreal and not in the playoffs.
Right. They lost that one game, right? That one game they played, right?
Hmm,
But
Drogba played?
I got to take a little tour.
Yeah.
I went to see BMO Field.
All right, we got some feedback. Okay. You there, Brian?
So, good.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. We had some feedback in the
I
studio.
just got to see BMO Field, and I know it's soccer report, but you're a hockey fan. I went to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Nice. I've been there. Beautiful, right?
You know, yeah, it's really nice. They,
Yeah. I love
they
this.
definitely love their soccer up here.
I really like the city of Toronto. I call it the clean Manhattan.
And that it is. It is clean.
It is very clean in Toronto, downtown Toronto. All right, so I mean, there's nothing going on as far as soccer, right? I mean, Toronto.
No, there's been a break. I mean, we had some friendlies.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, one friend. I don't even think it was a friendly. I think that was World Cup qualifying.
Which teams are you
It was
talking about?
interrupted, You know,
Oh, the U.S.
because of some tragic, a tragic events,
Oh,
but
yeah, yep. The events that happened in France, yep. Our prayers go out to everybody in France for sure.
but outside of that, there's only youth travel soccer going on. We got a youth, one of our local soccer teams making a bid to win their first Premier League championship in their division.
Right. That's a Silver Lake U12 girls fire team that's 1 point ahead of second place. Can you help me out with the name of that team, Brian?
I believe it's FCLI.
There you
Football
go.
Club Long Island.
There you go. And they're 1 point behind the Fire, and they're playing this Sunday.
Home game.
Right, a home game at Miller Field for the right to win that division. Well, the Fire just need to tie the game. They don't even have to go
Yeah.
They don't even have to go crazy winning it.
Nope.
But they probably will because they've been on a tear lately.
Yeah, they've been scoring their goals, and
Yeah.
it's working out.
You and I are
It'd be a
close.
great opportunity.
Right, you and I are close to that team, because of our daughters, and I gotta say that, yep, they've been scoring goals, getting everything, goalkeeping, defending. They're playing a lot better from what they started. I think in the beginning of the season, the first couple of games were they lost. I know they won a game, they lost. A little slow start, but and then they picked up steam midway through.
Oh, definitely, and it'd be great. Anybody wants to see a nice U12 travel game?
Right.
This should be a good one. This team is the team we're playing. From what I can see, and what I've read, and and just looking, they should be a quality team. I mean,
Well, they're right there.
They seem to. They're right there. I mean, it's got to be. I can't see it not being a good game. And if you like soccer and you got nothing to do, That's the one thing we don't get enough of on Staten Island is the promotion of
Sunday.
whether it's a high school game, a college game. You know, I don't know if you brought it up, but I follow it. Our local CSI women's soccer
Yeah, I didn't bring
made
that
it
up.
to the Division III, NCAA, playoffs.
Okay. No, but it's a good thing that you brought it up. If you have any info, you could share it now.
Yeah, no, I know they played. They actually traveled this weekend to Mechanicsville, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Never heard of that place.
And the team that they're playing actually won the Division III soccer championship like 5 times.
Oh, okay.
So, but that, I mean, we don't hear about this stuff, and
No.
it's left up to us,
Right.
on the show and whatever to promote it. There's plenty of high school and travel soccer going on.
Yeah, well, that's going to come to an end soon now, about another week, right?
Yeah,
This might be the last weekend coming up.
yeah, we're done, and there might be Frank. You might have the boys might play a little bit longer, right?
No, actually, the boys finish up this weekend, Brian.
Okay.
Same schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah,
we got,
so there's gonna be nothing, and then it goes to indoor.
yeah, which I'm not crazy about, but
And we actually, and just because it's happening on Staten Island, I know that they have a league, a futsal league that they play out in Mount Loretto.
Yes.
yeah, they do.
Yes, they do.
It's news to me.
You know,
The
it's nice. It's local.
the Sharks were actually supposed to play in that futsal league, but I think they decided otherwise. I think they found an 8v8 turf tournament
Okay.
out in Metuchen, if you know anything about that one, Brian.
We've played in the Fire has played. Our first indoor season was out in Metuchen. We played in a league for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And that was an 8v8, right out on the field. But a lot of the other teams, and I know the Fire is probably doing it, as well as the I know the Fusion and the Freedom are our other girls teams playing 5v5 tournament, weekend tournament, 1-day weekend tournaments at the Soccer Coliseum.
Right. Okay. Well, I just pulled up the standings. Yes, this Alliance team is 1 point behind the Fire. They're 5, 1, and 2. Okay, 17 points. The Fire with 18 points. Fire is 6 and 2. 6 wins, 2 losses. So goals for we have 22. They got 23. So these two teams are tight. It's going to be a great game. On paper, it looks like it's going to be a great one. And again, the Fire doesn't have to go crazy because we got the 1 point lead. We don't have to go crazy trying to win the game. Well, they don't have to go crazy trying to win the game.
Right. They just need to play the way they've been playing and let it go from there.
Right. All right. So we really, what to expect is the same way, the same type of game maybe that they play is what they have to expect. Try to eliminate the mistakes, and hopefully it's not one of those windy days at Miller Field.
Oh, yeah.
Because this past weekend was brutal on Staten Island as far as soccer.
Yeah, I saw a couple of pictures of some referee I knew with a black hat on.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was.
daily in the Staten Island Advance.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So that's good.
Yes,
Yes. That's right. They were there yesterday. You know what? Sunday was the better of the 2 days. Saturday was really bad.
Yes.
Yeah, well, whatever pictures they had of you were out there in your shorts.
Okay.
Looked like you were wearing a Parker underneath your rep jersey and your hat.
I got to pull that up.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get to it today. It wasn't on my phone, so I couldn't post it to the Staten Island Soccer Report Facebook page. Or I was just gonna pop that up there.
Yeah. The guy was there taking snapshots. He was there all day with me. So. All right.
What bothers me, John, is this is, and Mike, you too, Frank, and it's great to promote the rec game.
Yeah.
But come out there on a Sunday or a Saturday and get some of those travel teams there.
Yeah.
There's plenty of those games going on to just take some snapshots.
You know what?
and promote it.
They might not know about it. You know, Brian, he might not know about it. I asked the guy, I says, "You're going to be here all day?" He says, "Yeah, I'll be here all day." He says, "All right, so will I."
Yeah, maybe
You
that
know?
might be something we have to do.
And I says, "You coming back during the week?" He says, "There's games during the week." So, you know,
Right.
that was his answer to me. Like, he was shocked. I says, "Yeah, they play during the week."
Yeah.
You know what, though? I think just generally speaking, just in the advance, every Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever I look, I think there's just more posted
Right.
for the Staten Island Soccer League. Now, granted, maybe
Yes,
it's,
there is.
maybe it's just a bigger deal because travel players have had those accomplishments posted before, so maybe the teams don't get excited when your 10-year-old scores a goal if they're scoring
No,
goals
no.
every week. You know, I
I think that you take Selman. We were talk. I heard you guys talking about his team a little bit.
Right.
Every week, he posts his boys in there,
Yeah, he does.
yes.
He does.
and I think it should be. I think it. You know, right now it's incumbent upon the coach to handle that or the team manager.
Right.
And it all depends on what the coach, you know, speaking as a former, you know, still an assistant coach, it's hard because if it's not a practice that you didn't instill from the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
you can't really jump in. That's got to be something consistent that you do from the beginning of the season. And you have to have your parameters set up. This is how you're going to announce it. Because if you know, and we all know it, if you miss somebody's name or you don't report it one week when somebody scores,
Yeah.
and you report it the next week, and that kid doesn't get, it's not so much the kid that gets upset,
Yes.
the
Parents.
parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
the parent. So I think it's great, but I think we need to just promote this. I mean, we have a lot of things going on in Staten Island with soccer, and just promote it. You want to get it out there.
Well, you know what, Brian? We're going to do a weekly show. Are you interested?
Yeah, I'm interested in
There we
doing it.
go. I didn't want to put you on the spot like that, but you know what? If that's what it takes, a weekly show, you know, we'll see. You know, what we could work out. During-
I just think there's a lot more we could do.
During the
At the
soccer
weekly
season.
level.
During the soccer season, of course, you know, we'll trim it down
Right.
in the off season, but definitely during the soccer season, we could do once a week. You know.
And it makes it worthwhile. You could talk about the standings. You
Do
could
it in-
talk about everything.
Monday nights, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a live show. It could, because it'll re-air anyway, or it'll be on television the following day. You know. So, but we'll
I just
definitely.
think if we started doing that and we were able to get people to send in some clips and you send in a play of the week type deal
Yeah.
or do a little montage of a couple of plays, whether it's rec or travel, whatever, I think the kids, it'll build an audience because the kids will start looking for it.
Well, we have Neil here today from St. Teresa's. All right. He's in studio with us tonight.
Hey,
How you doing,
Brian.
Neil?
All right, all right.
All right. He's coaching U12 girls, U9,
U9 and U5.
and U5. So he's got 3 teams going
Okay.
on, and he's pretty much treating his rec teams like a travel team. He's got the passion for it. You know.
I want to bridge the gap, Brian. Bridge the gap between the travel and the rec. There's too big of a
I
gap.
think it needs to happen.
It's too big of a gap, you know. You see the difference. The difference is too glaring. We need
Yeah.
to get
I
11,
agree.
11 on the team on the same, pretty much, you know, same skill level.
Yeah. Instead of having like 3 or 4
Yeah,
travel
one stand
players,
out.
controlling a rec team. You know, what happens to
Well,
the
that's
rest?
it. I mean, I know plenty of teams that have,
Yep.
4 or 5 travel players on their team.
Yep.
And outside
Mm-hmm.
of those 4 or 5 players, if they pass the ball to anybody else,
Yep.
it's lost.
They'll never get it back, right? You'll never see it
So
again.
what they wind up doing then is just passing to their teammates.
Right.
I think it's
they
it's
know.
more a bad than a good to have the travel players. Then they control the whole game. The recreational players now with a less skill level, they hide. They're gonna hide from the ball.
Right.
They're gonna the travel players going for the ball, and the rec player is gonna kind of back off, you know.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Makes sense. Yeah, they hog it up. All right, Brian, we got, I believe Vincenzo's trying to call in. He's texting me here like
All right,
crazy.
go take Vincenzo. He can't miss his spot.
Yeah, you know what? He missed last month because of the we had the Tigers on. But Brian, we'll look forward to seeing you back in New York. Have a safe flight, and we'll see you back on the show here.
You got it, guys. Take care.
All right, Brian, have a good night.
Yep, Brian Doherty, you know, he's involved with Silver Lake, the Freedom. His daughter plays on the Fire, so and he does a lot. He came up with some scarves for the team. And he designed it, and another good guy that you know is passionate about this game. Yeah, I know Vincenzo was trying to reach me out here, so you guys want to just pick up the pace here while I just try and reach out to him, see if he wants to call us back. I think we're done. You want to mention anything about your teams, Frank?
Okay, real
And then-
fast.
Yeah, real quick, and then.
Starlets ended on a down note. 5-2 loss to the Lady Star to C Starfish. The Starlets finished with a 2-6 record. Unfortunately, I think that means Division 2 is in our future. Moving on to the U9 boys, Division 1, the Great Kill Sting was pretty much robbed of a victory in the last 30 seconds of the game. The final was 4-4, a tie with the St. Joseph, St. Thomas Tornadoes. The Sting finished up with a record of 4-1-3.
you got the U9 girls. Yeah?
Boys.
All right, you know what? That's a wrap, I think, on that, right, Frank? Well, I know we got Vincenzo. He's trying to call us. He's going to give us a little bit of his insight on what's going on in Brooklyn. I think they're starting up their season indoor. But before we get to that, let's do this. The Cosmos, of course, our famous New York Cosmos from back in the 70s are still playing, right? At a lower level, maybe. All right, and they won a championship again yesterday. They beat Ottawa 3-2. I believe we have Vincenzo Torzo on the line.
How you doing, Johnny?
Yes, Vincenzo, how are you? Long time no speak. We have Frank and Neil here in the studio tonight.
All right, it's full house, right?
Full house. We got Neil. He's also a soccer coach on Staten Island. He has 3 teams, Vincenzo. 3.
What age group are you?
We got go ahead, I'll let him-
U12, U9, and U5.
Okay, so when you're ready, let me know.
Oh,
I
Vincenzo.
got the 5, I got the youth 5, and then we have the youth 9, and they are very good indoor. John, I hear an echo there.
Maybe a little echo. Okay, but they'll fix that, Vincenzo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I was saying to Neil, we do have 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the 9 years old and up to 14 years old.
Up to 14.
All right.
And
If you-
this year, for the first time, the Italian Federation of Brooklyn, they open up to the 5 years old. Before it used to be 6 and up.
Okay.
This year, 5 years old.
So you 5 and up.
Youth 5 to 14.
5 to 14.
Before we had from 6 to 16.
If your team.
But the 16 years old, they are high school seniors. So we figure let's lower the age group, and also we can go. We get them ready for high school.
Okay, so Vincenzo, you're looking for, if you have any other teams that would want to come in and play, right?
I would say it would be a good idea, Neil, if you could get the 5 years old, and then we do 1 week the 5 years old, then we could do another week the 9 years old.
We'll go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, that sounds good.
He's in Brooklyn,
All right.
so he'll set the thing up.
So
Right.
the 5 years old, right, Neil, this way you can, John will tell you, the 5 years old, we line them up in midfield, we play the national anthem, we make them feel like $1 million.
Very
Yep,
very
yep.
professional. Yeah.
Very, yeah.
Professional, John will tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
The
Okay.
kids, when they go home, they're like in a Hawaii, they've never seen anything like it.
We'll have TV
Good,
cameras there and everything. Yeah, we do a very nice job with them. We have December 12th. Vincenzo's going to be hosting another. It's like an all-star game.
those are for the 9 years old, John.
That's a
right?
U9 on December 12th
Right.
at Cavallaro Junior High School in Brooklyn.
And for the 5th, if Neil wants to do something on December 5th,
Okay, yeah, I'll send out some emails to my parents.
Yeah, we'll
and
get
stuff.
back. He'll get back to you. I'll let
Try
you
to
know about
organize
that.
it.
the only thing, if in case he decided to do something, to
Okay.
be there 4:45.
Yep. 4:45. Yeah. All right, we'll let you know about that. Vincenzo,
The
what?
little kid.
So Vincenzo, real quick because we only have a few
Okay.
minutes left. What's going on in Italy?
Well, in Italy, the surprise news was Belgium beat Italy 3-1, and Belgium, before the game, I find out they were ranking #1 in the world.
Wow.
I said, that can't be possible.
Belgium.
Yeah.
They're even,
Yeah. FIFA ranking.
they're not even first in their grouping.
Yeah.
They're in second place. in
Okay.
their
Okay. So we'll make a short story. Italy's playing tomorrow. Another friendly.
friendly game.
Romania.
I mean, just a friendly game. It's experimental. They don't really. Well, I'm gonna watch it, but it's
Well,
nothing to see. Like
Vincenzo, you can't be experimental when you have Gigi Buffon, 40 years old, in the net.
Well, you know, John, to be honest with
It's
you,
not
I thought
experimenting.
Buffon was down the hill there. Meanwhile, I saw a couple of Juventus games.
Right.
He made some tremendous.
All right, I'm not arguing that, but I want to see in a friendly game with the national team. I want to see a different goalie there because
Young guy.
we
What do you
need
have?
to see the future.
We have a Perrine, and I guess one kid is 16 years old.
Okay.
He broke into the Milan soccer club.
Yes.
Donnarumma.
Yes, we spoke about
Yeah.
that. Yes, he's starting for Milan.
16
Right,
years old.
16. Good. Hey,
He was
good.
good.
Good for him.
Coming back here.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take it. Okay, so Serie A, we have Fiorentina and Inter in first place.
Well, this year, I mentioned before,
Yes.
you're not going to have Juventus and Roma and,
Yes.
and then the rest
Yes.
of the group.
Yes.
This year, you got Fiorentina, Inter, Napoli,
Right,
Lazio.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's plus Juventus, they will make a comeback, you know.
Yes.
So you're going to have 6, 7 teams fighting for Il Scudetto.
Yes, good. That's always a good thing when you have a bunch of teams fighting. Vincenzo, really quick, Body, second place, Serie B. What do you think?
Because they give the young players chance to play,
Okay.
and you know they wanna be observed by the Serie A teams, because next year,
Yes.
you know, some of these players, you know, they're gonna go up, but then they're gonna be,
Sold.
you know,
They're going to sell them.
bought by somebody.
Right. Okay, the New York Cosmos, Vincenzo, they won another championship last night. I know nobody watched the game because I don't even know if it was on
What
TV.
channel do you have to watch the
I got it. I don't know, Vincenzo, because they
Are
don't
you
do
talking
it.
about Beckenbauer, Quinaglia,
No, you're talking about 30, 40 years ago. Listen, but the New York Cosmos, I kid you not, the only fan that was in the stadium was Benny Fazio. You know Benny Fazio?
Yeah, man. You went
Yeah.
to see the game?
He was the only fan live in the stadium. So, but
What was
anyway,
that, at the Brooklyn Cyclone?
no, they
stadium?
played in Long Island yesterday. They
Oh,
beat,
Long Island.
yeah, so they won another championship. Good for them, but they need to play in the MLS, I think, for them to be recognized a little more, right? Okay, Vincenzo, we have only 10 minutes left here. We're gonna wrap up.
Okay, Johnny.
Any
Again,
final word? Any final words, Vincenzo?
Well, like I said, let me know what Neil is doing with the 5 years old.
Yes.
We got the 9 years old, right, Johnny?
Yes,
8 o'clock for the 9 years old on the December 12th.
yes, sir.
The 5 years old, Neil, keep in touch with Johnny.
Yes.
Yes,
Let me know
definitely.
this way, because remember, next week after is Thanksgiving Day,
Right.
and we have to let us know before Friday, John.
Okay, Vincenzo, when did you start? Did you guys start the indoor in Brooklyn?
Yes, we started last week.
Last week, okay. You started playing games, correct?
Yeah, we play games.
Okay,
you know,
good.
But
All right.
exhibition game is still. You guys will be the first one, and then before I go to other clubs, we figure you guys get the first choice.
Okay, very good, Vincenzo. We'll talk to you soon. And,
Okay.
all right?
Okay, John. Yeah, Neil and Frankie, good luck to you guys.
Okay, good night.
Thank you,
Ciao, ciao.
Vincenzo.
Again, that's Vincenzo
Yeah.
Torzo. He runs a like a rec program in Brooklyn, and he works with the little kids, U5. So, okay,
Good.
Neil, let's get some of your the last 10 minutes that we have here. Let's talk about national teams.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you're from Trinidad,
Yeah, we playing. We're gonna play the U.S. tomorrow. World Cup qualifier.
right? Okay, World Cup qualifier.
Yeah.
It's never easy playing in Trinidad. I don't know when the last time the U.S. won there.
They always been there.
No,
They
yeah.
always been there. In '89,
It's
to go to the World Cup in Italy,
Right.
we needed a draw.
okay.
They scored. Paul Caligiuri scored from half field.
Oh man, you
Since
remember that
that,
from? You remember
I
that?
cried, man.
Yeah.
I cried for that one.
You know, and Frank could tell you, I'm always knocking the U.S. team because of they never we talk about progressing. This team really never gets. Where do they go? Like World Cup,
Yeah.
they play 3 games and they go home. You know, they qualify because
They in an easy group conquer.
very easy, I think.
Yeah.
So
Mexico.
yeah, Mexico, U.S. is
Costa
always
Rica.
like 1, 2.
Yeah. Mexico, U.S., Costa Rica.
Right.
hmm
So what's your feelings on the game tomorrow night?
Well, I hope we could get a win. We beat Guatemala a couple days ago,
Oh,
so
that's-
we starting pretty good.
Oh, okay, so you got to win already. The U.S. beat nobody. They played it.
I think even a draw,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be happy with a draw.
I was watching some of the so-called professionals on TV, and they were saying if the United States gets a draw, it's good for them.
Against Trinidad?
Against Trinidad, yeah.
No, I think that's not good for them.
Not good.
That's not good for Klinsmann.
Yeah. Well, right now, the way I see the United States men's soccer team, I think they're going backwards, really. They took steps back after losing to Jamaica and Mexico. This qualifier that they played the other day means nothing to me. You know,
I
they
don't
got to
think they
be
could
quality teams.
They can't beat Mexico if they're playing like this.
Yeah. So, against Trinidad, to me, you got to win. You got to win no matter who you're playing. If you want to go to where Klinsmann wants them to go, World Cup champion,
Yeah.
you got to win
Yeah.
these games.
Yeah, they
You
gotta
can't
win
play
against
game.
Trinidad.
You cannot play. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a good match. You guys are playing, I think, the best soccer you ever seen them play.
I think so.
Now,
I
that's
think,
trouble
yeah.
for the United States.
Yeah, I think so. I know we're gonna stack it. We're gonna stack the defense. Look
Yeah.
for a draw.
Yeah.
Maybe we score one, but who knows? History is not on our side.
I got to tell you now, the way the U.S. is playing, you guys are favored to win. You have to be favored to win.
hope
That's why they play the game. That's why they play. But again, the U.S., you never know what team is going to show up.
Yeah, let's see if
No.
Klinsmann try some new young players.
Well, yeah,
Maybe
he-
they might be nervous. You never know.
Yeah. Definitely, they have some young players on the team, but they don't have the experience. That's the problem with the U.S. team. The experience, and these players playing the MLS, they're in the wrong league,
I don't know. We're not farming good players like Europe.
Right.
Well,
Well, that's the thing. You got to put them in Europe.
we only go as far as our players will take us. Klinsmann, everybody will point a finger and say
Right.
Klinsmann,
Yeah.
but we're going to go
Yeah.
as far as the players is going to take
I pointed
us.
my finger. I was okay if they were going to fire him after the Mexico loss, but who's going to replace him?
I mean, but Bradley did a good job. He got fired.
Right.
I think he did a real good job.
Yeah, but
He got fired.
that's the thing. If they fire Klinsmann, who's going to replace him? His assistant is Tab Ramos.
I think so.
He will be there, I think, maybe to take over. But
We see.
it's tough when you're playing professional results. If you don't get the results, Frankie boy, you get the axe. You're gone. All right, Frank. What's your take? Anything on the U.S.? You want to add anything on that? Because I'm going to talk about another team.
No,
Nothing.
shoot.
The women's team, right? Coming off,
Yeah.
right? The United
Big
States
win.
women's team. What do you think?
Big win. That's a one in a kind team right there. Carly Lloyd. We can't say enough about Carly Lloyd.
But you know what?
Oh.
Now that this team has finished their, almost finished their victory tour, a couple players retired, right? Warmbach is gone.
Yeah.
There's about 3 or 4 players, at least 3 players that are going to retire. So going into next summer is the Olympics in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a different look team. Probably still one of the best in the world, but they're going to lose a couple of veteran players. we'll see. Hopefully they could keep, the winning going.
That was a good World Cup team. I wasn't expecting them to win.
They could probably beat some men's team, right?
Yeah.
With that, right?
Yeah.
They could probably.
Specifically
Yeah.
the U.S.
I would love to see that. I really would, just for like a charity game type of, charity type game. Let them play each other and see what happens.
Set it up. Create a Facebook page.
I'd love to do that.
Charlie
what's
Lloyd is
your-
from New Jersey. We
Yeah.
can get some Staten
Yeah.
Island
Yeah.
ladies on that team.
And
in
she
the
does a
future,
lot.
you know?
She does a lot. She gives back to the kids in Jersey.
Yeah.
She has these clinics and stuff.
Right.
All right. Just going through the internet today, I come across this Del Piero. He's not ruling out one day coaching the Italian national team. All right. Again, he played. He has an idea.
Yeah, but let's get some coaching experience under the belt. Let's start
Yeah.
with a club. Let's start on club level
Yeah.
and work your way to the national team. Let's just
Yeah.
not throwing them into the national team. Just
know,
like that,
I've seen former Italian national players coach, and they've done bad. So I don't think it's for everyone. But you know what? I guess if you have a team and then you have players, they make you look good, right?
Yeah.
So
But being a good player doesn't necessarily makes you a good coach.
no,
Yeah.
no, of course not.
Yeah.
Because again, you have to have the players, and they have to follow your system, right? The
Yeah.
system that you want to have. All right. Speaking of systems, and what system do you like? Like, what do you teach?
Well, I look at my team
Okay.
and see what I'm working with. Maybe we're strong on defense. I could use 3 defenders.
Okay.
If we most at this age level though,
Right.
I like a 4-4-2.
Yep.
It gives you a lot more balance
Yep.
than any other system. 4-4-2, you're good, you're strong in the middle, you're strong at the back,
Yeah.
and you kind of
Yeah,
more balance.
I like that system too. I've played that all the time. I love the 4-4-2. Again, if you don't have the plays that are gonna go out there when you chalk up on the board, what you want them to do. If they're not gonna do that, then
No, you tell one girl to play right midfield, and as soon as the whistle blow, 5 minutes she on the left
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so you guys,
I like to have-
keep coaching, keep
I like to
teaching.
have the 2 wingers go up,
Yeah.
up front too, and then they have to drop back. But,
Yeah. The only how that will happen is if your midfield knock
Yeah.
the ball and give them time to
Right,
go.
yeah.
If you don't have midfielders who could keep the ball, they can never. The wing backs could never get time to
Yeah.
travel.
All right. What else is going on? We have World Cup qualifiers going on, right? I think
Mhm.
this is
We got MLS.
MLS.
We got
yes.
MLS
Yes,
reaching
we got
into
that sheet
quarterfinal,
right there. We got-
semifinal. Semifinal.
the
Got the Red
semifinals.
Bulls in it.
Okay, so this weekend, we had a weekend off because of the national teams were playing,
Yeah.
right? So on Sunday, we have the Red Bulls versus Columbus. All right, that's the first leg, so they'll be playing 2 games.
Yeah.
And then we got Portland versus FC Dallas. So good luck to those teams. I mean, New York Red Bulls has been around for 20 years. They haven't won a championship. Maybe this is the year.
This is the best year
Because-
they have so far.
Right. And LA's not here because they were the team.
Where's LA? Where's
They're gone.
the team that Clem Dempsey plays for?
Seattle.
Where's Seattle?
They're gone.
Oh,
They're
wow.
gone. Yeah, they're gone. Both of them got knocked out. Seattle knocked out LA, and one of these teams knocked out Seattle.
Okay.
So there you go. It could be New York's year. Maybe.
Could be.
We got the Cosmos that just won a championship, right? They made one fan happy, right? I think they only have one fan. That's
2.
two.
You gotta remember, you can't forget Paulie.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, you know what? I don't blame Paulie because his father probably dragged him to the Cosmo games. The kid probably wants to watch basketball or something, But, yeah, he probably drags him there. So, anyhow, yeah, hope Benny, if you're wondering, is one of our biggest fans. Yeah, so he's probably watching now laughing. Anyhow, yeah, it'd be nice to see, and I'm not really much of a supporter of them, only because they can't get it done talking about the Red Bull. So please try and get this thing done this year and win a championship.
They play good. They play from last year. They fired the coach
Right.
at the beginning of the year, and the supporters was so mad at strike and everything, but he got them playing good.
And they're playing
Got
with
them
no
playing good.
big name players, right? They don't
Yeah.
have a big star, right?
Nope,
Henry, he retired last year.
Yeah.
So they're doing it where
Yeah.
we're basically just no-name team.
Yeah, they got a nice core.
You know, like kind of under the radar, you know. So, but
Mm-hmm.
all right, what else we got here? A couple minutes to go. Anything else you guys want to add? Winter, anything going on for the winter? You got any? I know we got the Winter Classic that we usually have
Yes.
at Petrides. That's a good thing for
Yeah.
you guys. Yeah, Petrides usually has like a one-day tournament.
Okay, okay.
All right, you can get your teams involved in that. You play. How many games is it? Like 4 games, maybe?
Yeah, I think
Right.
it's a minimum of 4.
Yeah.
And a round
And
robin
then
something.
depending on
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round
the
robin.
Yeah.
semifinal and the
The
final.
more you win, the more you play.
Right, right.
So you
But
play.
you guarantee 4 games.
Yes.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
it depends on how many teams they have.
Right, right.
That's a good thing.
Is this more small-sided games or the regular
Small.
small-sided
it's-
I
games?
think it's 5v5.
It's
Yeah,
5
hockey
and
goals.
5. Yeah. So you
Okay.
if you have 15 players,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you have, you can make 2 teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, make 2 teams, right? And then
Mhm.
you go from there. Just let the girls play. So you have that coming in January. That's usually at Petrides.
Yes.
Indoor?
Indoors.
Okay.
All right, and then we have in March, the March Madness they call it. That's split up now, right?
Last year it was at St. Teresa's for the first year.
And he was talking about
Oh, I
speaking.
remember it. I remember it. Yep.
Yeah, speaking about it, Rich Nellis runs the March Madness, and he was saying something about C going over to.
Oh, going to see, going
Yeah.
to a bigger gym. That
Yeah,
would be
a
nice.
bigger gym.
You know what?
So,
Mm-hmm.
St. Teresa's was nice.
yeah,
It wasn't as big as Petrides,
Yeah, it was crowded.
but I would imagine
yeah.
that a high school
I'm sure he's gonna work
would
on
be
that.
even, you know.
Yeah, Richie will do a good job with that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just want to close with, I'm a referee, right? And I really just want to put out there, coaching, coaches like arguing calls. I think I see, and parents also. It's just becoming, I think, more of a problem than anything else because, the kids are around and they're seeing like the coaches argue and the parents with the referee. I just think it's a bad influence on the kids, and then they think that it's okay to argue if a ball goes out of line. If the referee makes a call, and he could be wrong or she could be wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that they're always right, but the rule states, do not argue. Do not argue with the referee, and just let it go. You know what? If worst case scenario, put it down in your report. All right, and unfortunately, see how fast this hour went?
Yeah.
Right, it went pretty quick, and we could sit here probably all night.
Yeah,
to talk about
exactly.
soccer. But anyway, Brian, I want to thank you. Neil, thank you. Brian
Thank you for
called
having
in
me.
from Toronto. Thank you, Frank.
All right, thank you,
Thank you for
John.
coming on again.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you guys next time on the Staten Island Soccer Report. When he plays that music, that's it.
It's good.
Quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Pari grande amore, pari unica e sola, pari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo